Hey, what's up guys? Josh here again, aka Peleus. I just wanted to come to you today and talk about this game I've played through. It's called Lords of the Fallen. I know a lot of people have played it, a lot of people have hated on it, and some people probably really got into it. I was on a forum the other day and I was just reading the different comments, and people on there were saying this game, it's not that good, it's not good like Dark Souls, because it's obviously kind of a Dark Souls clone. And they were saying this game's just not as good as Dark Souls, blah blah blah. And then there's other kids on there saying this is as good as any Dark Souls. In fact, it's better than Dark Souls, and all of this stuff. So I've played through this 2 times now. This dog. I've played through this game 2 times now, and I gotta say I really enjoyed it. It gave me that same feeling. Slightly the same feeling as Dark Souls, where I immediately, after beating it, I wanted to go back through again with a different build, a different character, and see how it was. So this would be my 3rd time playing through, and this time I decided to be more of a magic build. I know the magic builds in this, it's not quite the same thing. You have just a few things and you have to wait for them to recharge, so it's not like amazing, but it's, it's different, and I've been playing through it, and there's a lot that this game has to offer. After playing it for a while, I've come to the conclusion that this is a good game, and people did not give it a fair chance, I don't think. I think a lot of people did not give it a fair chance, because comparing it to Dark Souls is a bad thing. Well, it's an inevitable thing, but, oh boy. Hold on, I forgot what my potion button even was, because I've been playing so many other games. There we go. It's been a couple days since I picked it up. I've been playing this other game, which I'm going to bring to you later, but okay, I remembered the potion button. We're good. Let's go after this dog. He has no idea I'm coming. Oh, he does know I'm coming. As you can see, I'm using this big hammer. It's highly damaging, but very slow, and that was one of my first complaints. The slow weapons in this game are even slower than Dark Souls. Like, this game, the people that are saying that this game is better than Dark Souls, or that basically the people saying that this game is better than Dark Souls in any way, shape, or form are completely up in the night. Because this is no way, shape, or form, if you have played that and you're a huge Souls fan, in no way, shape, or form does the combat compare to the nuanced, amazingly, perfect timing and everything of that game. Dark Souls has so many different builds, so many different weapons, and they're all different. Just for an example, in this game, let's say you have this hammer. There might be a ton of other hammers, but guess what? They all have almost the exact same moveset. So really, you don't have... It's very deceiving. It seems like you have a lot of weapons to choose from, but if I take this hammer and I go like this, every single mace or hammer in the game is exactly the same. Same with swords, daggers, great swords. They're different stats, but they all have the same swing, the same thing. Whereas in Dark Souls, as you know, you have like all of these different things, all of these different weapons that they all swing and do their exact moveset completely different. So you have all these amazing possibilities that people come up with. I loved using all the katanas, I loved being a wizard, I loved being a strength build. So many options in Dark Souls, and here you basically have strength, build, cleric, which is kind of magic but not very good at magic, and dexterity. And if you read most communities, they'll pretty much tell you that strength build is the way to go. I pretty much blew through this game with strength build, and it's nowhere near as hard. It's not like amazingly hard like Dark Souls. It can catch you. It can catch you with your pants down and kick your butt, but most of the time it does it is because of cheapness. It's not because of genuine challenge. Like Dark Souls, the enemies would hit. They would hit they'd do their little 3-hit combo, then they're stunned for 1 second, and you do your combo. So if you rolled or blocked, you kind of knew the ebb and flow of the combat. This game, there's a lot of guys like these guys right here. Even if you have a shield, They hit you constantly, no matter what. They always get these annoying little hits on you. There's just enemies in this game that no matter what you do, you are taking damage. It's like trying to fight a spinning blade, some of them. Some of them, like even some of the bosses I've found out, I had to take down in kind of cheap ways because they would just sit and never really have like a definite opening. Like it was just like trying to fight a spinning sharpened blade that never gave you an opening, and you would just jump in there, do some damage, and then they would do some damage to you. So it was I don't know. But once I actually got the feel of that, okay, I started this game trying to play it like Dark Souls. I almost gave up on it, honestly. Right at the first, I was like, okay, this game, I wanted it to be Dark Souls because Dark Souls 3 is about to come out, and I thought this will be fun to play through this and get my freaking skills back and my feel for Dark Souls. Almost gave up on it because of the clunkiness compared to Dark Souls of the combat. Like this weapon, not so much, but man, some of the swords, and especially some of the heavier strength weapons in this game, you really have to give yourself way more time. Like I found myself, a guy would be 30 feet from me and I would start my swing because I knew he was going to hit me or get to me about the time my sword finally swung, and then I would get him. And then there's stuff like that. He just randomly grabs my head. I don't know how he got me in the middle of my move, but he did. And he's gonna kill me. Did it again. There I go. Well, as you can see, fighting those guys. See, sometimes those guys go down super easy, and other times you're hitting and they randomly can grab your head like that. There's not a sign of when they can grab it. There's not like a telltale anything, and they can grab it through your combo. That's the other thing. There's not a lot of stagger in this game. Some guys stagger, but for the most part, it feels like a lot of it is really cheap. There's a lot of cheapness. Some of that is because of this build I'm using. If I was the strength build, it'd be a lot easier, like I said, but that's just what it comes down to. But if you can get past that, there are some things that this game has to offer that make it worth the purchase, or worth going. And one of them is, as you can see, the art style. It's got almost like what's a cross between it? It's a little bit like a Darksiders. Darksiders is a little more cartoony, I guess, but some of the armors and stuff were a lot like how more fantastical, like how Darksiders was compared to Dark Souls. Dark Souls, my guy at any time could be like, I could be running around in like a bunch of rags, you know. You know how Dark Souls is. Everyone's looking all weird, and we're like looking like a bunch of we're looking like a bunch of hobos on Dark Souls sometimes. And in this game, there are so many ways to make your guy just look super awesome. His armor, his weapons can look super awesome. The levels look super awesome. They're not as much variety as I had hoped. When you get into the game, when you get to the end, you realize it's one of those games where you're like, that's it? It's over? Dang. Because the game is not long like a Souls game. There's really only two main areas. You have the area around the monastery, in and around the monastery, and then the area in and around this world of the Rogar, which looks cool. It's got some neat things to it, but it's pretty small once you get around it all. So this game goes by pretty quick, and you're wishing for more. And I do hope they make a sequel. There needs to be more games like Dark Souls, you know. You don't have to conquer Dark Souls, and I think the developer of this said, you know, we're not trying to be Dark Souls, but he probably admired the way they play. So the combat, the style of game, I'm glad they made it. It's good to play. I think there's a lot of areas that they could improve on in the future, and I hope that they throw down a sequel for us just for that reason. Mostly the weapons. They really, really need to give each weapon their own unique movesets. You can't be having like 10 great swords that all feel exactly the same except for the visual. That was my biggest issue of anything with this game, was not enough options in builds and in style. You pretty much you have all these great swords and you say, okay, I'm going to pick the great sword that does the most damage, and that's it. So it's not about like You know, in Dark Souls, we would pick all these different weapons based on how cool we looked or their moveset. Not in this. In this, you just pick the strength, dexterity, or type of weapon that does the most damage in that class, and that's all you do. So, there needs to be more variety, especially in builds and weapons in this game. Art style, I can't fault it. It's really awesome. Other than, like I said, you need more environments than this. There needs to be a lot more environments, more variety in the environments. So, check this game out, guys. People really need to give it a chance, give it a playthrough. I will say, after you give it that playthrough, going back through with another character is probably your only option. They do have a New Game Plus where the guys get harder, but unfortunately, the one thing they really didn't copy about Dark Souls in that regard is there's no new stuff. So, if you want to just punish yourself by going through New Game Plus with harder enemies and test out your guys, see if your build works with harder guys, I guess, then by all means go for it. I may go for it, but I think since Dark Souls 3 comes out in like a week or about a week from now, I probably will not. I might pick this up again. You know, some games I'll pick up like a year later and be like, I'll play through that again. So I'll probably play through this game a few times over the next few years because it was fun. I had a lot of enjoyment doing it, but they don't give you much incentive to go through New Game Plus. In fact, there's like no incentive to go through New Game Plus. There's no new weapons, so that is a real shame. I would have loved to have started out my game with this guy overpowered and just walked through people. Actually, not this guy. This guy's actually been a struggle. This guy, as you can see, he's good, but my strength build just could have just owned him. He just doesn't put down the way that guy did. They're not gonna let me drink this potion. This little twerp. Yeah, please. There we go. Let me get rid of that guy. And once again, don't think that this game is hard reflecting on how I'm playing right now while talking. I think some of you have seen from my Call of Duty footage, it would actually be better if I recorded footage of the game and then just made a little speech and put it over the top of it, because when I'm trying to think of what to say to you guys about a specific game, sometimes I do not play the game right. Like I said, I was playing this a bunch of days ago, haven't played it for about 3 or 4 days, and now I'm picking it back up, and for some reason I just feel awkward. Like I kind of knew exactly when to hit them, knew all their moves and what was going to happen, and right now I'm being a bumbling idiot is actually the best way to put it. But yeah, doing not so good. But if you really love Dark Souls, I'll leave it at there. If you love Dark Souls, check out this game. Don't believe people that say it sucks, because it's great. And also don't believe people that say it's better than Dark Souls, because it's nowhere near. I can't stress that enough. The nuances, the huge levels, the way a Dark Souls game is, this game is a mere shadow of a Dark Souls game. But then this game is so awesome, and that just speaks to how amazing Dark Souls is, that even a game that's 1/10 of a Dark Souls could be completely worth your time, because there's just not enough stuff like this. With the way games have gone, all the easy, stupid continues, and the way people are playing now, there's just not enough amazing games out there that play like this. I mean, who doesn't? Oh, this guy's got a cheap re-heal. Well, I'm going to go back and get all my potions and start this over. Probably run through this section again and not being a bumbling idiot because I'm talking. But you know what? Thanks for listening, guys. And if you like Dark Souls, if you like any games like this, give this game a chance. Check it out. I know I've just repeated that like 100 times, but I had a lot of fun with it. I really did. And I can't stress that enough, that you need to play this game. So catch you guys later. Thank you.